The next game on this episode is Tower of Madness.
Designed by Curt. Artist Dela Cruz, Gunship Revolution, Jen Santos, and Brian Valeza. And published by Smirk and Dagger Games.
So Tower of Madness is basically Kerplunk, the Cthulhu edition.
Right.
So you have this tower that you build, you put all these tentacles through it, and you pour a bunch of marbles in the top. And then you have a deck of cards that you are going to choose so many of them. I believe it's 8. Mm-hmm. And then the Watchtower, which is the very beginning one that always starts the first round. Each player gets a character card. There are character cards with special powers. Otherwise, you can just play a basic game with no special powers. And then you have 5 dice. And on each player's turn, what you're trying to do is complete this like Yahtzee rolling type of thing, where you roll, you need to get 3 different symbols, which are always the same symbols for everyone. It's printed on your board.
So 1, 2, and a 3.
Yeah, it's 1, 2, and 3 on the dice, which is like a heart, a brain, and like a portal.
Sounds right. Yeah.
I think it's right. And then 4, 5, and 6 are other symbols, but more importantly, they're high numbers. So you have 3 slots that you have to fill with the 1, 2, and 3. And then the 4, 5, and 6, you can put in these 2 other slots, which is your investigation roll. And I'm sorry if I mess up some of this terminology. It's been a couple weeks since we played it, actually. But the investigation roll is what's going to determine who the lead investigator is. Mm-hmm. So on your board, there's an investigation track that you put a yellow marble on. And so, like, for instance, if I succeed in the investigation, meaning I get the 1, 2, and 3, and then I have those other 2 slots filled, which are wild. 4, 5, and 6 isn't the only one that has to go there. 1 through 6 can go in each of these slots, but obviously you want a higher number. So say I had I meet the 3 symbols to complete the investigation. My other 2 dice is a 4 and a 4. Now my investigation score is an 8. So I pass the dice to Matt. Matt rolls once. Each time you roll, you have to lock a die, but you can lock as many as you want. Then you got to roll again. You have to lock a die, etc. If at any point you can't lock a die that would help you complete the investigation side, you fail the investigation. Otherwise, once you get those 3, you're pretty much good. You're just finishing off with the investigation numbers, basically. If at any time during your turn you roll 2 5s, there are these special ability tiles out in the middle, which will allow you to like cancel tentacle rolls or, steal a card or a spell card from other players. Everybody gets some spell cards. Anyway, so you roll, you finish. If you finish the investigation and you're high or equal to or exceed the highest investigator in points, then you take the marble and you're the winner for this round so far. You keep doing it until everybody goes, and then at the end of the round, whoever has the highest investigation number gets to take the card that's in play.
Those are all location cards.
Yeah, all the location card, because it's worth the amount of investigation points. At the end of the game, whoever has the most points is going to be the winner. The other things to the game, though, is if you fail your investigation roll while you're rolling, because you can't complete the 3 required symbols, then you fail. You have to pull a tentacle out of the tower, which isn't all bad because there are a couple of different types of dice in the game. There are madness dice. There are red. If you get those and you have 4 of them, you become insane. Then on your turn, all you're trying to do, or all you get to do, is pull a tentacle from the tower, and you're looking for the doom dice. I think they're called Doom. Mm-hmm. There's 3 of those. They're green. If 3 of them come out, the game ends. No one wins unless the person pulling the last tentacle who causes the marbles to drop is a bad guy who's insane. Mm-hmm. Then he's the Doombringer. He still dies, but he wins as the Doombringer, which was Matt. Everybody clap for that.
Mm-hmm. Yay.
That's insane.
Yeah. Otherwise, if you go through all the location cards, you just count up whoever has the most investigation points. That player is the winner alone. So it's not really a cooperative game, but you want people to stay not insane because you want them to continue to roll, and you want to beat them and keep them in the game.
Or if they're the current lead, you maybe want them to go insane.
You might want them to go insane depending on how far through. Yeah, because you want them to lose, but they're going to keep drawing tentacles at that point. There are some spell dice. I believe they're white or something. When you draw, or not dice, marbles, when you get those, you actually get to draw cards off the spell deck. They do all kinds of things. There's one side for if you're normal, and there's one side of the card if you're insane. They have different powers. The insane ones are insane. There are blue dice. I keep saying dice. There are blue marbles that come out of the tower. These are investigation points. They simply give you 3 points flat. And that, I think that's all of them, right? Yeah, I don't think there's any more.
Doom, investigation, and the magic one.
Yeah,
the cards.
Yep, and madness. So more than half the dice I think in the tower are actually good.
Keep saying dice.
Yeah. Wow. More than half of the marbles. I mean, how many games do you reference marbles?
Yeah,
not many.
There's like one hand of games that are out there right now.
Right.
So anyway, yeah. So at the end of the round, you see who has the highest investigation score. They take the location card. You flip over the next one. After the first one, it usually has a special ability. Like maybe you have to complete the investigation in one roll, or maybe you have to get, instead of getting 3 different symbols, maybe you have to get all 3 brains or whatever. So there's like a couple of different special abilities and stuff. So Eric, what do you think about this one? We're going to start with you.
Yeah. I ended up liking it pretty much. I went into it not knowing what to expect, I guess, but it turned out pretty good. It is light. The tower is pretty cool. It has a good presence on the table. There's, however, not a lot of things to go for. You're always doing the same type of role. So I do wish that, some way that there was things to change it up. I know there's some location cards that,
that change it up a bit. But to add on to that, I think I know what you're saying. I think it should have been, instead of a printed value on each player board that you need to get, they should have just left that on the location card.
Yeah. So you're going for different things instead of always going for the same role every time.
Yeah. I guess it makes it easier
Mm-hmm.
for people who are lighter players to the games, to the board gaming world, because it's like, this is what you're always going for. And then every once in a while, like, all right, this is the exception, rather than always switching up. So I guess if it was always switching up, then, well, now that makes sense why it's all the same symbols, though, because it's always a 1, 2, and a 3.
Right.
So it's always the weaker dice that you need. So anyway, keep going.
Yeah, to lock in, and then you need 2 higher dice to pretty much win the investigation. I do like a lot that once you go insane, you still are in the game, even though you're out, but you do have that little chance that you're gonna pull that last Doom marble and end up winning the game by yourself. So that is pretty cool.
How fun was that to go for? Because you did go insane. I think you're like the only one who actually went insane.
Yes, I went insane really bad.
He has so many.
That one pull, I think I ended up with like 8 red marbles. Again, it keeps you in the game. But
you still have spell cards, too.
You still have spell cards, and at that point, the insane side of the spell cards they're just fun. They're crazy ridiculous. And the whole time you're just trying to, hopefully you want to do things to get that last marble to fall.
Right.
It's whatever if you don't, because it's fun either way.
Yeah.
I had a lot of fun with this game. So
I would say if you're maybe a heavy Euro gamer, you don't like a lot of luck, maybe this is not the game for you.
This probably didn't already pique their interest in the first place.
Because
anything that just looks gimmicky, they're like, whoa, stay away from that.
There is quite a bit of luck. I mean, it's all luck based. You're doing dice. Not only that, you're pulling the tentacles, and
it's a complete crapshoot on what falls.
Oh,
so you can't determine what's going to fall. You can determine, which one that you pull, and it's like, I'm going to pull this one because I think it has a better chance of dropping dice, or I'm going to pull this one because it has a better chance of not dropping, not dice, marbles.
I started it.
Yep.
The interesting thing is with Kerplunk, it is a see-through container that you put the sticks through. And so you can be like, there's a lot of stuff on that stick or not. Because I think in that game, you don't want stuff to fall out.
Right.
I don't remember it. But in this one, you can't see into the tower at all. So, I don't know if it would actually be better to take the roof off, and so you can always peek down and be like, which one do I want?
I don't know if I would like that.
That might slow the game down a lot. And people are getting up on the table, and you don't want them to shake it too much because then stuff could fall before people grab stuff. Outside of the gameplay, the only thing is, I really like the components of the game, and I like the tower, but we had problems with it
The tower itself.
Oh.
I know Curt made a video saying, hey, this is, if you have a problem with it, flex your tower and flex your roof. And
I just put rubber bands around it.
Yeah, we just rubber banded it, and we didn't see that video, but I think he posted it like 7 days ago.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah, that was...
So I think other people have had problems, but...
the rubber bands worked.
Yeah.
I mean...
to give you an idea,
on it.
Picture like a flat piece of cardboard that has scoring to where it folds into a rectangle tower.
Mm-hmm.
And the two pieces that come together are actually, they have magnets that connect them. And those stay connected okay, but once you start putting all the sticks in there, the tentacles, and then pour the marbles in, that thing shifts around. So I think that, and we've talked about this, but the base of the game, it's like a plastic insert kind of thing.
Right. That would have been nice.
It would have been cool if it had like teeth or like a place to where it gripped the tower as it went down.
A little moat.
Yeah.
For it to lay into.
Yeah. Like something. Kind of like when you put like your little standee on its little stand and it grips it. Something like that. But then again, I mean, we used two green, like bright green rubber bands that matched the tentacles, and we put them around the top and the bottom of the tower. 0 issues.
Right.
So, I don't know. I think that's fine. Production-wise for the game, obviously that's a Band-Aid approach, but I'm fine with it, and it keeps it working pretty well. So, other than that, though, I will say the only tidbit I have about the game I'm kind of like, is I don't think the player powers are all equal in... like value. I don't think any of them are terrible, but like some of them are obviously better than others.
Yeah, I mean that's kind of almost simple. It's really hard to be like, well, this is going to be exactly as powerful as this, exactly as powerful as this. So in this type of game,
well, yeah, because there's a lot of luck going on and
right.
stuff. Like, what was your power? Do you remember it?
Actually, I don't remember it offhand.
Matt, do you remember yours?
Mine, Eric's wasn't the magic balls worth more to you?
Oh yeah, there were 5 points
The
instead
blue balls,
of 3.
No,
maybe 4. I don't know if it was 5.
Maybe it was 4.
No, I did something. If
that wasn't yours?
No, that was.
I think that was an ability. I don't know if
it was.
Right.
Could you convert?
I think that was Jake's.
Could you convert your white marbles into blues?
That's what it was. If I rolled two specific symbols, I can convert one of my. Either my madness or
I think it was
my spells. Yeah, spells into. Yeah,
because once you get the spell marble, it's worthless because
right.
you drew the card.
Right.
Yeah, I then can turn it into XP. Not XP.
See, that's
but
pretty sweet because you
points.
can draw. You can generate 3 points off of another marble. Whereas like the other power, it's like every marble you get that's blue is worth 2 more. It almost doubles the ability of mine. Was you need 5 madness marbles instead of 4. I did not think that was powerful at all.
Yeah.
Like that was so weak.
Because even mine, I was every location I got 1 extra point. I think
Was there only 1?
maybe 2.
Like your
I think it
location
was
cards
more,
were worth 1 extra.
Yeah, my every location I had was like an X amount more.
Yeah. See, that's still like in terms of power level of just the ones we mentioned, it would be like my guys and then yours, and then the other 2 I think would literally be a few steps up from that. Because that is a lot of points that you can generate.
Yeah.
The fact that one person, or the person that had I can't remember who played it, but whoever had that one that it was 5 points for each investigation, or 4, you're right, I think it was 4. They literally had and I guess it's luck of getting them, but they had a lot of points just from that. They had like 5 or 6 extra
That
points.
was you, wasn't it?
No,
he was the convert the spell.
right.
I don't remember what Melissa's was.
Okay, you just ended up with a lot of blue marbles on that one
right.
pull, though.
Right.
Yeah,
I had a
that's
lot
what
of
I'm
blue
thinking
marbles, but
But
it ended with the Doom marble.
Yeah.
I lost.
either way, though, taking away the special powers and sitting there and testing them against each other, I thought the game was super enjoyable. It is phenomenal table presentation. Yeah, dude, you bust this out at a convention, or we should take this to like O'Shea's or whatever, or like some kind of meetup or whatever. You put this on the table, people are definitely going to ask you about it.
Yeah.
It is phenomenal in that sense. And the fact that you're like, at first we're like, we don't want to pull from the tower at all, and then we realized, well, pull from the tower is actually like
Yeah.
I was
Really good
actually
things
just
in there.
thinking this and about to say it. So
Oh,
yeah. Because
Yeah.
you're right. It was a lot of like, oh, don't pull tentacles, don't do that. And then you started seeing like, probably after Eric pulled like 6 blue marbles, it was like,
There's points in there.
maybe we want to get marbles. Maybe that's not such a bad thing.
Yeah, it's almost like panning for gold. It just happened to have some danger.
Which I think earlier on, maybe once when you don't have any do marbles out, you kind of want marbles. Maybe even one.
Yeah, we kind of ratcheted it back once it.
Right. Once you get the second one, then you're like, all right, we can't afford to draw anymore.
But there's always that threat of pulling one thing and all 3 coming out.
Right.
So, I don't know. It's a fun game. I really enjoyed it. Any final thoughts for you guys?
No, yeah, it was a good time.
Yep. Highly recommend it. Even if you don't like Cthulhu. I mean, the Cthulhu theme is there.
Right.
But it's not like you have to enjoy Cthulhu to enjoy this game.
Correct.
So, really good game.